welcome to the Light Gate, everybody, on this beautiful Monday night, last night in July. We are coming to you live from the beautiful city of New Orleans in Louisiana at the United Public Radio Network at 107.7 FM and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 105.3 FM. We are on Facebook, we're on Roku, we're on Rumble, we are on YouTube. We have a really great guest tonight. Y'all have been real patient with us in chat, knowing that we had some interesting couple of things happening to us today. So I'm just going to roll it over to you, Preston. I love you. There you go. Okay.
Thank you very much.
I forgot. I'm so excited. Thank you, Carnation. We love you very much. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, we appreciate your support. Thank you, Dolly. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on episode 118 of The Light Gate. I'm your host, Preston Dennett. My lovely co-host is, of course, Dolly Saffron. We're super excited about our show tonight. We have an amazing guest. I'll get to him shortly. We did have major power issues in the hour leading up to this, so I was quite nervous, but by pure synchronicity and great luck, serendipity, our power seems to be fully back on. So fingers crossed, it'll stay on. So yes, I'm very happy about that. Thank you, guys. I'm really excited about our guest tonight. As you can probably tell, I'm going to be quick in introducing you all because I do like to say hi to you guys. It's because of you we do this show. And you're all just such wonderful people. You're so very supportive. So let's just quickly see who we have here. And we have 24-Hour Reaper. Matt, I'm in. That's awesome. Thank you. We have Teresa Levine and Scarlet Fire. Much love and light to Dolly and Preston. Aw.
Thank you. I love you too.
More of Matt's folks. BJ Lapierre. Hello, BJ. Thanks for joining us. It's awesome to see you guys coming to hear Matt. We have Olivia sending positive energy. We have Dolly Roderman. Dolly, wish us luck, bloody CME. Charisse Basila says it's so bloody hot here. Yeah, well, it's summer. Tennessee here, and it has melted.
Yeah, it did today. Boy, did it.
Yep. We have Olivia, Jamie Mashburn.
Jamie.
Go Team Carnation. We have Robin. We have the Owl Man.
Hi, Owl Man.
Janie says, I've been waiting forever for the Light Gate tonight. Love y'all.
Thank you.
We have Groucho Trout. Owl Man. It's nothing but solar flares right now. Yes.
That's right.
What are we going to do? Namaste. Mwah. We love you so much. Thank you for your wonderful generosity and support. Just amazing.
Absolutely.
We have Groucho Trout. We have Robin. Ooh, summer. We have winter.
Yeah.
It's so crazy to me.
Yeah, you must be in Australia. Like you. Okay.
We have Albert Jacobs and Wimbley. Very cool. I love seeing these new names here. Thank you, Matt, for bringing these new people in. Kay Hansen, you're saying y'all instead of you guys because you're in the South now.
Yes.
Y'all are right about that.
Well, I speak Swedish first language, but the second half of when I speak English, it's Southern. So you're going to get y'all from me. Okay.
It's Sunny. Amazing. We love you. Thank you for your wonderful support and generosity. It helps us a lot. We have Chris. We have Katrina Appleby staying up late in the UK.
Awesome. Brilliant. Thank you.
Oh, thanks for joining us. We have a lot of fun here. Louise, hi Matt, so gutsy. Okay. We best get going. Just a few more, Dolly. Energy shifter. Bob Thorson, thank you. Thank you so much. Very, very kind of you.
Yep.
Fun Talks, let us know what happened.
Hey, Fun Talks.
Okay.
We have CME. We have solar panels that got hit too. So the whole grid down in our entire town and our solar panels were going bleep, 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 bleep. So yeah, it was a fun time. Yeah.
Bambi from Philly. Hello.
Hi, Bambi.
We have Kaleidoscope Eyes and Larissa Marks. We have Perry Smedberg. We have a huge crowd today. Very cool. Conkadong Bongo Man.
Very cool.
Man, keep it up. Aw.
Bongo Mo.
In the UK. I'm honored. Thank you. Steve Wolfbrandt. We got Kay Butler. We got Leah. We have a lot of people. Wimley, the Astral Tourist. Anders Lund Olsen, all the way from Denmark.
Hi, dude.
Awesome. Ciao Caesar. Just finished reading Symmetry. Awesome.
Oh my goodness.
Yay. Now you guys can get Symmetry on Kindle, audio, and print, and we're working on that sequel very hard. Karen Swain, former guest.
Hi, Karen.
At least 2 times, I think. We love you. And many other people here. Katie Holly, oil painter. We have Ruth Kleiber from Canada.
Hi, Ruth.
And Michael Kennedy made it. Yay.
Oh, Michael.
Unfiltered music. Very cool. All right. Let's see. Let's get started. Hello, Guardian. Our guest tonight is truly awesome. I was on his wonderful podcast, Planet 412. Check it out. All the links to our guest are actually in the show notes. But let me tell you a little bit about Matt Emch, if you haven't heard of him, because you really should have. He is amazing. We're very delighted and honored to welcome him. He was born in Youngstown, Ohio. He played FCS College Football at Youngstown State University from 1991 1994, with all 4 teams playing in the national championship games during these 4 years. And get this, he won the Natty in 1991, 93, and 94. What happened to 1992? He was a runner-up. How about that? He's a sports commentator for 17 years, has had a lifetime of unusual events, including paranormal encounters, a near-death experience, ghostly stuff, some Dogman encounters, many high strangeness events. He is, as I said, the host of the very popular podcast, Planet 412, also a Facebook group. Join that group. It's awesome. He's got a lot to say. As far as Planet 412, here's his little motto. You have landed on Planet 412, the home of the Youngstown, Ohio Dogman. Welcome to our journey as we explore the strange, the supernatural, the insane, and the cryptid world we live in. Again, links are in the show notes, but I'm going to waste no more time and bring in our illustrious guest. Matt,
welcome to the Light Gate.
We need to get you unmuted. Let's see.
You're muted.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was incredible, Preston. Thank you. Geez, can I hire you for every show I do? That was awesome. Thank you.
Hey, it's an honor. Yeah, I'm so delighted. It was so much fun being on your show. And I'm just so excited that you came over here to our little light gate.
Thank you.
Actually getting to grow a little bit. So we're excited.
I just real quick, I just wanted to say real quick, it was awesome having you there and having Dolly in the chat. So it's great to see her and you both on screen, and me being here is an absolute honor. So I just wanted to throw that out there real quick.
Thank you very much.
And like I said, I just love your name, Emch.
Thank you.
That's an awesome name.
Appreciate
I love names, as a writer, I'm always into words and stuff like that.
It's a strong German, Irish, and a couple other European names, but mostly German, Irish, Scottish, Welsh, those 4.
Yeah, it's funny because Dolly and I were thinking, how do you pronounce that? We were going through various ways. So, yeah.
You should see the mail I get sometimes. People just think they need to add a vowel or something. So I'll get Emic or Emach or anything. So, yeah. Nope. I always tell them the easiest way to pronounce my last name is pretend that there's a P in the middle and just sound it out. Emch.
Right.
And that's the easiest way to do it.
Yep. All right. Well, as I told you before we started the show, I always like to start by asking our guests what they were like as little children. How did you get involved in this field? Did you have any unexplained experiences? Were you skeptical of the paranormal? What really kind of led you to the path where you are today? Because this is an unusual field. Not a lot of people are doing this sort of thing.
Right.
So how did it roll out for you?
You know what? Before I get started, I just wanted to say one other thing. BJ Lapierre, my good friend who's in the chat, her mom is a little down and out health wise. So if everybody could just send positive, energy to BJ's mom tonight, I would really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
She's an amazing woman. I just want to send a kiss out and hope that she feels better soon.
That's awesome. Very nice of you. Hear that, everyone? We've got the positive energy here, healing energy. We can absolutely make a difference. So
thank you.
Definitely sending energy.
So what happened with me? I started having strange things happen to me when I was very young. But, one of the things I wanted to start with is, since you guys know so much about, research into these types of events and things, my family tree, so I'm, for everybody in the chat that doesn't know, I'm half Lebanese, I'm half German Irish, and the Lebanese side of my family is the paranormal, supernatural side that has had a lot of strange occurrences happen over the years, still having things go on to this day. And if you guys don't mind me actually starting with the farthest experience in my family tree, I'd actually like to start there.
That sounds very interesting.
So my great aunt and her father and her sister, my other great aunt, or my great grandmother and her mother, all grew up in Lebanon. And where they lived in a little house by a stream in Lebanon. And the day that this occurred, my great grandmother and her mother were not there. Just my great grandfather and my great aunt were there. And my great aunt was playing in the living room, according to her telling us this story over the years when she was still alive. And what occurred was, her dad was outside tending to whatever, farming or the house. And she was apparently, according to her, she was playing with dolls and whatnots. And she said, my mom had to actually tell us what she was saying. She was speaking broken English. And she said she kept noticing something over her shoulder. She'd see a form, a dark form, and she'd look and nothing was there. Well, over about a 45-minute period, this happened 3 or 4 times. And then right at the fourth time she looked, she turned and looked, and there was a big black shaped man or being at the back of the living room that was standing there. And when she turned around fully, she said it started doing the horror movie hands up, coming at her like this. It had green eyes.
Wow.
Green glowing eyes, and she started to scream. And one of the things that she made very clear is they had 2 doors in and out of the house, but one of the doors was always locked. It was on the back part of the house. They never opened it or closed it. It was always locked. Either it was broken or they kept it locked. Mm-hmm. The other one didn't lock either. So when her dad went to open the back door, it was locked and he couldn't get in. And she kept making a point to tell my mom, it just didn't lock. It didn't lock. She was saying this in Lebanese to her, and he was trying to kick the door in. He was trying to break the door in. He couldn't. And this thing kept coming closer and closer to her. And it was probably a few feet from her doing this thing. And he finally had picked up a cinder block and split the door.
Oh my God.
And
wow.
He looked through the big crack in the door, and she said they both turned, the being and her, at the same time. And when they turned around, she said, I could see my father's eye looking through the crack in the door. And this thing had turned around as well. Well, flip it to what he had told her and his family later, is this thing looked at him, and all of a sudden it smiled at him. It had no mouth, and then a mouth formed and it smiled. He said, I saw the green eyes. I saw everything that she said. turned around and started going back to her. Well, finally, father,
This is terrifying.
strength kicks in. He kicks the door in, and he starts to run towards this being. And just as he's about to put his hand on its shoulder, poof, just dissipates. Like he said, it was like cloud-like, like black, just dissipation, just gone. And he said she was a nervous wreck. She was flipping out. It took forever to calm her down.
Now, how old was she when this?
Like I think she was in between 3 and 5, somewhere in between there.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
So extremely young.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I take that back. That was my great grandmother. She was between 6 and 8. If my mom told me that right.
Still
I
young.
wish my mom and dad were still here. Neither one of them are not. She was older than my great grandmother. So my great grandma was the younger one. So he had kicked the door open. 3 days later, my great grandfather died because he had kicked that door open. Well, what had gone on over the years, because the house was so close to this river next to the house, there was always like moisture in the house, and the bottom part of the door was like rotted it a little bit. And when he kicked the door open, it splintered and a piece of rotted wood went into his leg. He died 3 days later from gangrene.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's a true story.
Now, what year would that be approximately?
Oh, geez. Now you're really putting me on the spot.
I mean,
I honestly, I don't know,
right?
Preston. It's
Wow.
been so long since I heard that story from my great aunt's mouth. My great grandmother, I never met her. My great aunt, I remember her telling us that story way back in the early 80s. I mean, I would say probably in the 50s or 60s. Somewhere. Don't quote me on this. I wish my mom was here. So that was.
But I do have questions about it. What do you think that was?
Well, I know for a fact that one thing my great aunt kept saying to my mom when she was explaining the story, and I heard her say this, she kept saying Jen. It was a Jen. She kept repeating Jen, which, if anybody knows, a Jen is like a ghost or a being in the Middle East and places.
Like the Grim Reaper. It could have been death coming was probably targeting your grandmother, and it got your grandfather instead.
It could have been. I don't know. I remember asking my mom to ask my great aunt, why did she think this thing came? And she said she didn't know. They had no idea. I mean, they were God-fearing people, go to church all the time, love God, nothing evil or negative in their lives. And who knows? I don't know. So that is as far back as I know of any experiences that have happened in my family. And then I know for a fact over the years on the Lebanese side, I've had numerous cousins have premonition type abilities. Like my one cousin, Danny, he has had numerous dreams where he's hit the lottery in his dreams, and he's played the numbers and hit numbers. Nothing like Mega Millions size, but he's won thousands of dollars. And other cousins have had weird stuff happen in their homes where they hear footsteps, or a crazy thing happens with my one young cousin, Mark. He will hear voices sometimes when he goes to like visit family in the cemeteries. He'll hear voices speak to him. And he has some really strange stuff occur to him.
Yeah.
So there's got to be a genetic component to psychic abilities, because I keep hearing this sort of thing.
Yeah, I truly believe this. I've touched on this on Planet 412 numerous times. I've really looked into this, and that is one of the things in this day and age, in 2025, that a lot of researchers and people in the know have started to say that yes, there is a correlation between family trees and paranormal supernatural things occurring in families that have had them. And usually, from what I've learned, is it's usually one side that this occurs.
Yeah, well, it's,
If it's
I've
two
done some
sides, it's
research
gonna
into
be-
the genetics of it, and it's gene number 2, and it's the one with the layers on it. Okay, and it
The telomeres.
copies itself. It had telomeres. Thank you. It makes copies of itself, and most people have 2 copies of that gene, but some people have multiple copies, and
Okay.
they're the ones that they're pointing to that have exceptional psychic abilities. And because I kept thinking, why are they wanting everybody's DNA? Why are they what are they looking for? And it's that marker. They're looking for the copies of gene number 2. And it's the ones that have the Denisovanian component to it are the ones that make multiple copies. So if you have Denisovanian blood and you have more than 2 copies of that gene, you're more than like 80% more likely to be intuitive, psychic, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And, that's what everybody's looking for. How is that a component?
Very interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Also, considering that contactees are generally psychic and ETs are all about upholding genetics, there's a connection there, I think.
Yeah.
Well, if they could identify the actual psychic gene, that would be insane.
Well,
It would be.
Yeah.
I agree right there.
Oh, Robin is asking, can someone explain jinn to me?
That's an Arabic way of saying spook or a demon or ghost.
Shadow being.
Ghost. Yeah, that's just their an Arabian
Trickster
word.
spirit.
Trickster spirit is they use the word jinn. Okay. Yeah.
And just to let you guys know, for me, my whole life, I've had weird things occur. So from the beginning, as far as I can remember, and from what my mom told me, I have always had this weird premonition type of ability. I would, from the time I was little, I used to love when my mom would say, hey, such and such in the family is pregnant. And I always wanted to say, I want to pick what it's going to be. And from as far back as I can remember, I mean, young, my mom said, like, farther back than I was aware, I've always gotten it right. Always. To this day, I've never been wrong, which is strange. I freak my wife and daughter out all the time. I notice extreme, I have this extreme ability to notice just extreme detail in things that most people don't notice. It's been going on forever. And the youngest I was that I can remember something occurring was, aside from those premonition types of things, is I would say probably me and my younger brother, he's about a year and 4 months younger than me. We lived in a big old house on the north side of Youngstown, and we didn't have central air. So in the summer, each room had an air conditioner unit. And we would go, like, in my mom and dad's room when we would want to play with Hot Wheels cars because it had the biggest bed. And I remember this one day, I'd say I was probably somewhere around 5 or 6. And we were playing with these Hot Wheels cars. Nobody else was home but me, my brother, and my mom. She was downstairs cooking, and I know she was cooking because I'll be able to share why I know. So we're playing on the bed, and we hear knocking on the door, but kind of hard. And I thought it was my mom. Like, what the heck? We stopped playing. I got up, I opened the door. Nobody was in the hall. All of there's 5 kids in my family, so all of the bedrooms were closed. The bathroom door was closed. The door to the attic was closed, and we're like, okay. So I just closed it, and before I got back to the bed, boom, 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 and so much so it scared the life out of me. And I turned around and I ran to the door, and I jumped on it and was holding it. And it was like somebody was trying to get into the room. I started crying. I yelled to my little brother. I said, get over here, help me. And
how old were you?
I was 5 or 6, and he's only a year and 4 months younger than me. So we were really young. But I remember this like it was yesterday. I'll never forget this. And the door would once in a while pop open to the point where like it was open that much, and we push it back, and we thought whatever was doing that was going to get in, and we started screaming bloody murder, mom, help. She runs up the stairs, and when we hear her start to run up the stairs, we felt like the pressure go away, and we're holding the door. And she ran up and she said, open this door right now. And we opened the door, and we're bawling our eyes out. What are you doing? What are you doing? Mom, something was trying to get into the bedroom. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. She didn't believe us. And she had a wooden, she laughed about this. God bless her soul. She laughed about this when we got older, and she had a wooden spoon with like spaghetti sauce in it. Like it wasn't dripping. You could tell it was like on it. And she smacks me on the top of my head, and the spoon splintered and just shot off in different directions. And we're like, why would you do that? Stop lying, stop, blah, blah, blah. And we were really disturbed. That was probably the only thing that I remember like that occurring. I will say this though, and Dolly, maybe you can say, maybe I was sensing something. So we had in the basement, it was one of those scary old basements, with the stairs that somebody could be behind, and they could stick their arms through. So whenever somebody ran up from the basement, you always knew somebody was coming. Could you hear boom, 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 boom? Because everyone was freaked by the stairs, like something was going to grab us. I cannot tell you how many times I really, honest to God, felt like something was about to grab my leg, like literally trip me going up the stairs. Do you think that there was possibly something?
You had a ghost in that house, and it was powerful. How old was that house?
Oh, geez. I mean, at least when we were living in there, it was at least 100 years old.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah. It didn't like kids.
Wow.
At all. Because it was targeting you and your brother.
So I'm curious, you 5 kids in the family, what order are you at? Are you number 1 or number 5?
No, I'm number 4, and and obviously my little brother's number 5. So there was my oldest sister, then my oldest brother, then my other sister, and then there was a lull, like a 6-year lull. And then there was me and my brother, my younger brother.
Yeah. The thing about really young children in the house, and this happened to me and my brother as well. When you're very psychic, you're very bright to everybody on the other side. They can see you. Your energy is really high, and they target you. And if you have a ghost in there that's, pissed off or angry or whatever, excuse my French, will come after you. I've had that happen to me personally. I've had one come after me. And my great grandmother had to tell me what to do about it, because it was pursuing me like it meant it was going, it just couldn't handle me being in the house. And it started very rapidly after we moved into this house, because we moved from, we were Coconut Grove, Westwood Lake, then parts of Village Green, and then another part of Village Green. And so we had just moved in before full on Everglades, and it targeted me. We were in the house a week and it started. So yeah, it was probably pursuing you big time.
Why, aside from what you had just said about children having a brightness about them and everything. What else could it be that they don't like about children? Could it be because
your pure energy, pure innocent energy, and you burn brightly. Your energy is so bright, and they can't help to be attracted to it. And if they haven't moved on, or if they haven't figured out how to move on, and they're confused or befuddled or idiots, I hate to say that, but it's true. They're gonna want what you got, and if they can't get it, they think that they can take you out somehow to get it. That's
those
why
sometimes do go after the most vulnerable person,
right.
or someone who's really good, shining absolute good positive energy, which children are. They're so innocent and good.
Right. And
So
I was
think
just
that's
lucky. I had a
also
great grandmother who was a shaman. Okay, she was a Sami shaman, Swedish, and she told me, you have to turn around and fight back. You have to literally let it know that you're the boss. Get away from you now, and mean it. And I did, boy. I went after it. I went, that's it. I'm done with you.
That's crazy that you can have a spirit that can push the door like that. I'm
Oh, yeah.
physically moving.
Oh,
They can pop beds up and down at the foot of the bed. They'll lift your bed up and rattle it.
all
They'll
my hairs, when I was
doors and
telling
stuff.
you that, all the hairs on my body were standing up. I
Well,
still
when
have
it was happening,
goosebumps.
we'd be sitting in the living room trying to watch TV, okay, like 7:30, 8:30 at night, because we were getting ready to go to bed late, That was late for us anyway. And all of a sudden, the door would just go kablam, and my dad would look at my mom would look at my dad, and they'd look at us, and we go, okay, One day the front door opened up, and both of them, we had front door, big ranch house, and both of them opened up and then went boom, boom, and we heard the glass rattling in it. It just, and I started.
I interviewed a family. They had a terrible haunting. They were all in the kitchen. They dropped the car keys on the kitchen floor and they disappeared. Boom, into nowhere. The door opened and closes by itself. We're all looking at each other like, what?
Wow.
I mean, how do you even explain that?
Oh my God.
So there's stuff goes on that we don't fully understand.
Oh, for sure. Now, what about also, do you think, guys, that it could be because, children are always more open to noticing paranormal?
Yeah, absolutely.
Beings,
because
don't like
you're talked out of it yet. You're wide open psychic as a child. You haven't talked out of it yet, and that makes you a target. Yep.
Definitely. I actually did a survey of all the people I've interviewed who've seen ghosts. Over half were children.
Yep.
And twice women as opposed to men.
Right.
So,
oh, really?
Yeah. More women than men for sure.
Huh.
Whatever that means. I don't know. They're more intuitive.
That's
odd. That's a trait that we're born with, being females. Yeah. It's built in.
When that incident happened, were your other siblings in the house?
No, me and my brother were the only two who were in the house. The other ones were like at college and at school. So my dad was at work. This was like early in the day. Like I remember it was like somewhere before lunchtime, like around 10:30, 11:30, somewhere in that area, because nobody was home.
Wow.
Yeah, I can see how that would be memorable.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll never forget that. That always made such and I asked my brother not long ago about it as well. And he said, how could I forget that?
It's not something
but he doesn't have things happen to him really. He just said, I think, maybe because I was with you, something happened, because I really don't know of anything else other than that occurred in my life. And I asked him, can you think of anything that's ever happened to you other than that? And he's like, nope, nothing.
Wow. So that was the first one. How did it roll out from there?
I wanted to say one thing. T-Bone asked if I've ever heard of the hum buzz. What is that? Oh,
have you heard of the Taos hum, a buzzing noise? They haven't identified it. It's like coming out of the earth, or
yes, I do. I have heard of it. Yes.
Okay, now catch me up. What are you talking about?
The Taos hum became famous in early 1990s, thereabout, where they actually measured it, and they're trying to figure out, is this underground machinery? It was really driving people crazy. People moved out of the area. It's now been heard all over the world. It's never been fully identified or understood.
I think it's machinery underneath their building.
No. Well, it could be, but it's also our mantle is breaking loose for the last 80 years. And everybody's hearing the mantle unloosen. That's what they're hearing. You don't realize how widespread it is. I mean, it's huge all over the planet. And it's breaking loose for real. And they don't tell you the truth about it.
Gotcha.
If you had a mantle, the mantle breaking loose under your feet, you'd bloody hear it. Sometimes
there's all kinds of people hear like horn sounds and roars.
Yeah.
And
yep. Yeah. I've heard all kinds of it. We had an explosion type event happen in Girard, Ohio, which is only about 5 minutes from Youngstown. So, it sounded like an explosion, and it happened a few days right after another, and nobody.
Natural gas up there.
They do have natural gas, and some people were wondering if it was the what's the one thing that they spray the earth with the
chemtrails?
Not chemtrails, no, that they are trying to get gas with they shoot water underground.
Oh, fracking.
Yes.
So
they were doing fracking.
Yeah, well, you're in Ohio and all the, Minnesota, Ohio, all the way out to the west. Y'all are up there on a lot of natural gas, okay? And when our mantle is breaking loose, that can loosen the pockets of it, and they go boom, because a sudden release of natural gas will cause an explosion because it explodes up, not down.
Yeah, I've heard this all over. There's, I think it was North Carolina, South Carolina.
Yeah.
It goes back like 200 years, where like gunshots, big bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, that's natural gas in the bloody mantle breaking up. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that could be it. But yes, T-Bone I have. So now that Preston straightened that one out for me, yes, I'm aware.
Also, garbage dumps will do it too, because, it's methane. And they put those pipes that are hooked like this, to release it. But sometimes it's so big, and if it's hot outside, they'll go and blow up, Yeah.
Well, they did a show on the Alaska Triangle or something. One guy caught the horn sound that people talk about. It's eerie and very loud, and they could not find the source of it. It sounds like a horn.
You get granite grinding against granite in the mantle, and it'll produce that sound. Granite's got a lot of metal in it. It'll do it.
Yeah, it was very eerie, though.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So moving on. For the next thing that occurred to me. Was when I was, this is what I'm the most well known for. So anybody that does not know, I have one of the most well known Dogman attacks in the world. When I was 14 years old, me and 3 of my friends were playing, and we used to play down in the old steel mills that have been destroyed, that were down in Youngstown, Ohio. Youngstown, Ohio used to be one of the bigger steel providers in the country. There was like a circle, Pittsburgh and Cleveland and Youngstown and Detroit. And when the bottom came out, when the steel industry went kaboom, Youngstown was hit really hard. Well, from the time I could remember, I just remember driving past them, these hulking, rusting away old steel mills. And when I got older, a buddy of mine lived across the street from them, and we used to go there. And in 1987, in the summer of 1987, we had a experience where a Dogman almost killed me and my friends, and it really happened. It really, messed me and my friends up for a long time. If you guys would like to know the specifics of it, I'm going to do a short version. You can go to Planet 412, the first video on there. will explain everything in great detail about what happened when I was 14. But basically what occurred was we got out of grade school. It was the summer before my freshman year. And you guys know, Preston, when you get out of school for the summer, you and your buddies, you guys just go buck wild. And,
Yep.
we just loved to go down to the steel mill and we'd hang out there. It might sound weird to a lot of people, but we just would, go on adventures and stuff and go see what was around there. And it was an extremely dangerous place. We shouldn't have, looking back now as an adult, we shouldn't have been down there. And one night we would always, have fires and stuff. And this one night, whatever opened us to the same, frequency, or I attracted this being, a portal opened, whatever happened, this being came right where we were, and wasn't aware of us being there at first. And when it did realize we were there, it came after us and chased us into this huge blast furnace building called the Jeanette Blast Furnace, and literally almost killed us. There was, in my opinion, there was basically, divine intervention. I feel God saved me and my friends. And again, you can go to Planet 412 and see exactly what occurred. But that experience changed my whole life. And basically, if anybody isn't real schooled on what a dogman is, just imagine seeing a werewolf. That's what we thought it was, and it was a gigantic wolf, stood up on two legs and chased us. And I'm very lucky to be here. Very lucky. It was at one point only about 5 feet from me, and it was getting ready to pounce. You could see its muscles, all clenching up and the teeth gearing up. It was salivating and locked on to me. And I'm not going to tell you exactly what happened, because you got to go to Planet 412 to listen. So that occurred, and changed my life forever. It opened up my mind and my friends' minds to the fact that there was another world out there that we had no idea. As far as we knew, these things did not exist. We were always taught monsters don't exist. Werewolves are only for movies and books and Fangoria magazine. And, nothing like that really is out there. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, yes, they are. And
when I first heard about him, I had no idea. I actually got a few interviews of people, and I kind of put them on the back burner when they described Dogman to me. And it wasn't until Linda Godfrey wrote The Beast of Bray Road. Love her. She's an amazing lady. Put out this book where she describes so many people seeing what we now know as Dogman. I had no idea. But one case that I did interview of this lady was driving across the United States with two friends. She was in the back seat. They were, it was Colorado, New Mexico, somewhere in the Midwest. She looks out the window and sees this figure at the tree line. And she's looking at it. It steps out of the tree line and stands up. And she's pressing, hands down, this was a tall creature like Bigfoot, but it had a dog-like face. I'm like, are you sure this could have, sounds like a Bigfoot? She's like, no. This had a snout. And I'm like, oh my God. And I had her describe it. She says, I didn't get a great look. We were driving by. It was a couple hundred yards away. And by the time she really got to see that this was definitely unusual, they had driven by it, and she never told the people who were driving because they did not see it. And she didn't want to sound like she was crazy. Because again, no one was talking about this. So I can't imagine how that must have been, how difficult it was for you to process that.
Yeah, it was extremely difficult, because at first, we were fearing, how is anybody going to believe us? When we got back that night to my buddy's house, We had been gone all night. This, just to let anybody know, Youngstown, Ohio, in the late 80s, early 90s, was one of the most dangerous cities in America. It was actually deemed murder town USA. Definitely not, something you want for your city, but per capita, Youngstown was called Murder Town USA, and we had the most murders per capita. And being late at night, being young 14-year-old kids, of course our parents were flipping out. Where are they? And when we got back, we got to my best friend's house, and the mom and dad were waiting for us. And the mom, we started screaming, blah, 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 this occurred. And the mom's like, what are you guys talking about? Immediate, and they're crazy. What's going on here? But as you'll see when you watch the interview, my best friend's dad didn't react that way because he was involved with the city. And as you'll hear through the interview when you listen, he was actually aware of this thing. But the other parents, nobody believed us. My mom and dad, didn't really want to believe anything. My dad, when he spoke to my best friend's dad, didn't know what to think, because he told my dad, like, hey, this is what's been going on. There were people that disappeared down there. Homeless people disappeared. The police had gotten calls about people seeing these things that worked on the railroad tracks by the steel mill. And when he told my dad, after my dad came to get me, I remember him taking my dad in the back room, and all of a sudden hearing my dad go, what the hell are you talking about? And I knew he told him what we were saying. He's like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, oh God. So, I just never thought he wanted to even fathom this occurred. And they basically forced us never to talk about it. They told us everybody would call us crazy. They put the fear of God in us, like, don't talk about it. Your friends will want to go down there, because it was dangerous. We'd be down there. You get Widowmaker pieces of concrete would fall from the ceiling. Yeah. And, it was really dangerous. And, this thing was down there, and they didn't want a bunch of kids in large groups going down there, and God forbid mass amounts of children being, culled by whatever this thing was, or just getting hurt from these buildings down there. So they really put the fear of God in us and made us swear we wouldn't discuss it. My best friend and another buddy, my one friend who lived across the street from the steel mills, are no longer with us. They made choices in their lives to try and deal with the mental distress and the PTSD we had. They chose bad ways to deal with it chemically, and they're no longer here.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you. And I think about them every day. My other buddy who's still here has major psychological problems. He's on like 5 different medications. His parents told us they hated us, would never forgive us. They said, you guys gave our son acid or whatever, and you made him crazy. And he didn't speak for weeks after this event. I talk to him weekly now, and he stutters now. He has a lot of serious issues stemming from that. I had the best reaction to what occurred, because I had, other things that I was able to do. I played football, which I had like an outreach type of thing. I was able to put my frustrations and fear into and forget about that as much as I could. But I'll tell you what, I never have a day that goes by that I don't think about it. I dream about it constantly. I think about it daily, multiple times a day. There's never ever a day I don't think about it.
Wow.
And
that's so intense.
Yeah, it is.
What's amazing is that, you weren't alone. If you had seen that alone without another witness,
I think I would not be here, number one.
Yeah, because that's for an experience to affect you that profoundly, that alone just gives the credence to it. I mean, whew.
You've never
Yeah,
seen anything like that again?
I'm sorry, Dolly.
Have you ever seen anything like that again?
The only thing I ever had where I saw a being like this, I had two events occur. One was an out of body experience. And what occurred with that was this was about a little over a year and a half ago. I fell asleep in my chair in my man cave area. And, I don't know if you guys have ever had realistic dreams, but, you dream you're at home, but usually 9 out of 10 times it's never your house. Well, I was at my house and it was my backyard. We have woods, right back here beyond this drape, there's woods. And in my dream, I heard something in the woods. I went outside and long story short, I was attacked by the exact same thing that I saw when I was 14 years old. It did mind speak with me. It told me that it had come for me all those years ago, that I speak too much of it, and that it would see me soon. And I woke up after that occurred, and it knocked me on the ground. I felt pain. I got the wind knocked out of me. It put its head, like a millimeter from my head, and that's when the mind speak occurred. And it was the realest. I mean, it was like it really happened. And when I woke up, I was in my chair, my dog, and I always, we all know that pets are very acute to paranormal and supernatural events. Well, my Hadley, had her paws on my knees. She was looking at me. Her ears were back. Her tail was between her legs. She was crying, and I was soaking wet from sweating from this event. And I think she knew what was going on. And another paranormal event that occurred, if you go to the second video on Planet 412, you won't believe what happened at Beaver Creek. Beaver Creek State Park is in Ohio. It's well known for Bigfoot and paranormal events. And I went there a couple years ago to meet some of my friends from the YouTube world. They were having, every year they have a Bigfoot conference there. And a buddy of mine said, "Hey, you want to come?" I'd never met him and his wife in person. And he said, "Why don't we meet? We can go to dinner and I'll take you to the place that they are camping out and you can meet everybody." So I go and we get to this area, and it is in this really far off, one of the most, from what I was told, it's the hardest to find, this campsite. And it's the most paranormal one they have in the entire park. And supposedly what I was told was there is a portal at the top of this hill, like they're real long hill, a stone portal that Bigfoot and other paranormal events utilize this portal. So I'm there, I'm meeting people, and a psychic named Johnny Freeman, he's on Facebook, you can look him up, he'll tell you this story occurred, came up to me. I never met the man before in my life, tapped me on my shoulder. It said, "Hi, I'm Johnny Freeman, I'm a psychic. I just wanted you to know that I'm being told," he didn't say by who, "I'm being told that you need to go to the top of this hill up there. There is a portal up there and you need to go by yourself." Well, I was on crutches. I had my left knee replaced a few weeks before that. And in which I'll get to as well, I had lost my right leg in April of 2022, and a powerful event had occurred as well with that. So I go to the top of this after thinking about it. And I said, you know what, after what occurred to me when I was 14, I'm going. And I went. And it took me half an hour, 40 minutes to get there. And I was soaking wet in horrible pain. And I finally made it. And there was one last little bit of a part of the trail that was like that thin that got to the final portion where this portal was. And I could see, I could hold on to a little tree and like kind of look over, and I could see it, but I'm like, no way on crutches am I going on that. So what was good is there was a tree that had fallen right by the opening of this area that I chose not to try and cross. And I sat down and I cooled off and I just started talking. I didn't know what to do. And I just said, you know, my name and I don't mean you any harm. You know, I'm asking your permission if it's okay with you that I'm here. You know, I hope that I can have some type of experience. I was told that I'm supposed to be here, that someone wants me here. Can you please speak with me? Yeah. After about a half an hour, nothing occurred. So I'm like, okay, well, it's getting dark on crutches. I need to get going. So right before I stood up, I said, I'm going to try one last thing. And I took my phone and I did an EVP. I said, you know what? I've seen these ghost shows. They take their phones or whatever. They do EVPs and maybe I'll catch something. I don't know. So I took my phone and I did it. And I did get an EVP. Did I play this for you guys before?
No.
So you guys can get a really good recording of it on my channel. The second video, you won't believe what happened at Beaver Creek, but I'm going to play it through my microphone for you guys. And just to let you know, nobody was up here with me. This wasn't any hoax or anything. It blew my mind when I played it back. I stood up like, without my crutches. I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. And I was blown away that this occurred. So give me 1 second. I'm going to find the file. All right. Let me make sure which one it is here.
So Groucho is asking, where exactly is this area in Ohio?
It is in the East Liverpool, Ohio. It's in the northeast portion of Ohio, around the Cleveland, Youngstown. So Youngstown, Ohio is smack dab in the middle of Cleveland, Ohio, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. East Liverpool is in northeast Ohio, and that's where Beaver Creek State Park is. And if you look it up on Google, it'll pop right up. And if you put Beaver Creek State Park spelled just like it sounds, paranormal at the end of that, you'll get a crap load of stuff you'll see.
Okay.
Let me see here.
Again, thank you for...
That's not it.
Is there anyone out here with me? Thank you for allowing me to be in your home, in your woods.
Did you guys catch that?
Do you want to say anything to tell me you're here?
Here, I'm going to start over. I want you guys to listen.
Out here with me.
I heard something. Yeah.
Is there anyone out here with me? Thank you for allowing me to be in your home, in your woods. Do you want to say anything to tell me you're here? What's your name?
So there was, did you catch after the grunt?
Yeah.
You can't hear it super great on this one right here, but you get a grunt after I say, you know, thank you for allowing me to be in your home, in your woods. And it goes, brr. And then there's 3 wood knocks. I did not hear any of this with my ears. I heard none of it. And when I played it back, it flipped my lid. I went absolutely nuts. And again, if you go to Planet 412 second video, you'll get to hear a great copy of it. I lifted the sound and everything for the video. You'll hear it beautifully.
All right,
but
I want to jump in here with the question from Louise because it's pertinent. Maybe a silly question. What does 412 mean? Why Planet 412?
Why?
Well, just to let you guys know, I grew up, my address in Youngstown was Laura Avenue, and the street was Laura. It was 412 Laura Avenue. The 412 number has been weirdly connected with me in my life for so long, it's hard to even explain. So the 412 again was our address. My dad played the number on the lottery and won numerous times. And then I also looked up just a couple years ago, when I decided I was trying to decide, what should I make the name of the channel be? And hi, how you doing, Z-Son? And we came up with that, and we looked up the meaning of 412, and it's so connected to me. It's angelically connected, the numbers 412. And for the events that have occurred in my life, and when I go to the one I skipped to talk about this one, it was like somebody was describing me and the events that occurred in my life. And my wife, who is not one to jump to the paranormal, she's one to, she needs proof. She doesn't right away buy things. She's just not an easy sell. And when she heard the meaning of it and the connections with me, she was like, oh my God, Matt, that's like somebody just described you. And when I shared my event with her and my daughter, they didn't know what to think at first, but they completely believe me. They know that there's been weird stuff I've been doing my whole life, and fully support and believe me now. But yeah, at the beginning it was, I'm not so sure about this kind of stuff, but she does not want. So I think I told you I'm going to be going out and going to, haunted places on my channel. And she's like, oh God, please make sure you're blessed and everything before you go. She doesn't want me bringing hitchhikers back and things like that. But that's basically where the 412 came from. And it made me decide I'm going to name it Planet 412. It was a shout out to my family in that house, and for all the events that connect to me angelically.
That is interesting. Not a silly question at all, after all.
No,
Thanks,
no.
Louise. Very interesting.
Down to the number 7, so that's an angelic number is 7. So very cool.
Good point.
Yeah.
Moving backwards to April of 2022, this was one of the 2 most powerful events of my life. The first, paranormally, was the Dogman attack, which opened my eyes and mind to just so many different things. I can't even still to this day fathom how many things are out there and what I'm connected to now, which is why I'm so glad Dolly and Preston came into my life, because maybe I can get more answers. This second event was of a completely different nature and really, really affected me. I really I have no words to really even say how powerful this was to me. So in April of 2022, I unfortunately lost my right leg below the knee. I've had 33 surgeries to date, most of them stemming from playing college football, being torn up and everything. But I have advanced lupus, which anybody knows, it's an autoimmune disease. It eats your joints away. It starts to eat at your organs after it eats at your joints. And it really beats you up. So I had gotten this affliction in my right leg below the knee, in the foot and ankle called Charcot syndrome. It's spelled Charcot. It's where all the joints in your foot and ankle dislocate. And an orthopedic surgeon has to actually be specially licensed to do this surgery to fix that. Not any, you think of like they're like the gods of surgery, but they have to have an extra certification to do this surgery. So I had this one surgery to try and fix it. It failed. And the reason it failed is because the lupus was just saying, no, I'm not going to heal. And then they did a second one and did a much more robust surgery, put in a 16-inch titanium rod in my bone on the inside, and put extra plates and screws, and it still did not heal. It started to basically, the bones were starting to just deteriorate, and he basically had no other choice but to take the leg. And, you know, we had the best surgeon you could, you know, one of the best you could get. And, you know, he was very upset about this. He's like, Matt, please look into second opinions and make, you know, I want you to, you know that I support you trying to get other opinions. And we did. And everybody said the same thing. We're really sorry. They're going to have to take your leg.
Yeah.
I mean, just being anyone,
right,
knowing you're going to lose a limb is just beyond life, just crushing. But also being, you know, an elite athlete and having them say they're going to do that to you was even worse.
Yeah. Wow.
And they took it, and it was really hard to deal with. So come home from the hospital, and after the first surgery, that one second surgery, I had fallen a couple times. I'm sure anybody can imagine trying to move around in your house. You're going to have accidents, not having your leg anymore.
Yeah.
And the worst thing happened that could happen. I fell, and I fell straight down on the limb that was cut off. And it caused the sutures to open, and there was a really big hole. And my home health care nurse came one day, and he was like, oh my God, that hole's huge. They could see into the leg and bone and everything, and contacted my surgeon. He said, oh my God, you got to tell Matt he has to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
His artery could burst. He could die. I went there, and the hospital I went to, which I never will go back, basically had me waiting 5 hours, and I never saw anybody but the triage nurse when I first got there. And they actually sent me down to X-ray, and I was left down there for an hour. I had to yell at them to send me back up, and then I was back in waiting. And, you know, my doctor had said they'll fast track you like a heart attack patient. You won't wait. Well, I waited, and I went, and I'll never, like I said, I'll never go back. It was a hospital in Warren, Ohio. And I yelled to my wife on the phone, come get me. I'm leaving. I've been here for 5 hours, blah, blah, blah. She came, pick me up on the way home. We were real close to getting home, and we heard what sounded like water running in the car.
Oh.
And I ended up, we're looking at each other, and I ended up looking between my legs, and there was a hose that thick of not it was like, oh my God, my artery blew. Oh my God. And I grabbed my leg, and blood sprays everywhere in the car. And my wife's driving. My daughter was 14 at the time, is in the back seat. So they're witnessing this horror show. And what had occurred was it started right when I got in her car, and we didn't even know it was doing it. And the only reason we knew is because the carpet had got so full of the blood and sopped with the blood that when it was hitting the carpet, it was making that, you know, the liquid carpet full of liquid noise.
Wow.
and she pulled into a gas station, and long story short, like, people there were called the ambulance. A guy there was an ex-combat medic. He was trying to help me make
Tourniquet.
a
Tourniquet.
tourniquet, and
Yeah.
then a doctor was driving by. He said something told him to stop. He stopped and was trying to
Wow.
help, and then I had
Yeah,
lost
right.
consciousness 3 times at that point, and my wife on the third try, I think when I lost it the third time, my wife basically smacked me as hard as she could. Wow.
Keep you alive.
And
Yeah.
kept me up. And I was like, oh my God, what'd you hit me like that for? You're staying awake. Stay with us. Then I could feel my life slipping away. It's the most horrific feeling in the world. And I was losing it. And the ambulance finally got there, and I saw my wife and daughter, and I saw my eyes closing, and I knew I was going to die. And I looked at them and I told them, I love you. I'm sorry. And I died. And I heard my daughter screaming, Daddy, no. I heard my wife screaming, Matt, no, no, no. And my heart had stopped for 97 seconds, and they were getting me to the hospital. And they had got my heart started right before they sent me back to into surgery, and it stopped, and they were trying to get it going again. And they told my wife, whisper to your husband, you love him, you're probably never going to see him again. She was covered in blood and everything. And what occurred to me was I saw dark. And then within a couple seconds, I was standing. I had my leg. I was in a grass field. I didn't see any trees or anything. It was just a field of grass. I didn't see, the flash of light and all that. But what I did see was immediately was, how am I standing? My legs here. I'm in a field and there's grass and thousands upon thousands of people around me, and they were all of them were out of focus. I could not see who they were. Some were looking at me, some were looking in other directions, some were doing things. I couldn't see what they were doing. I swear I saw somebody look like they were petting a dog or something. And I got this immense, strong urge to look over my right shoulder, and I looked, and my mom and dad were there. And my dad had died of pancreatic cancer about a year to a year and a half before then, and my mom had died of partly a broken heart. Anybody ever tells you that can't happen, they're full of it. It can. And the other half was from advanced lupus, which I have. And I immediately started bawling and crying, and I ran to them, and hugged and started kissing them. How is this possible? How am I seeing you? How are you here? You guys have been gone. Oh my God, I missed you. And they were crying too. My dad never spoke. He's a big guy like me, 6'4", and he just put his arm around me, had his arm around my shoulder and just smiled at me. My mom was the Lebanese, and she was short, like 4'8" or 9, really short. And she was looking up at me and saying, we love you. We miss you too, baby. Some personal things I'm not going to share. And finally we got to a point where you guys have watched the movies. You guys have heard the other experiences. She said, honey, we are so happy to see you. We miss you. We love you, but you can't stay here.
Right.
And my reply, and I apologize, Preston, was bullshit. I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
I'm not going anywhere. I had this immense, strong feeling of I wanted to stay, and I did not want to leave. And she just looked at me and smiled, and she took her right hand and touched me on my left cheek, and I saw the brightest like camera flash you could ever imagine. And then I opened my eyes, and I was laying on my back at Trumbull Memorial Hospital in their operating suite. And the surgeon who saved my life, a wonderful woman, Dr. Mashburn, a surgeon, said, she looked over me and she said, Matt, we're going to try and save you, honey. Just try and stick with us. And they put the gas on me, and I went out, and they did save my life. They put, I think it was 7 or 8 bags of blood and like 3 or 4 big bags of plasma in me, and they saved my life.
Yeah, that's almost all of your blood, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I lost.
You lost almost all of your blood
in the car. Yep.
That's amazing.
Can we back up a second?
Sure.
When you were, did you hear any noise when you were over there on the other side? Because
not that I can remember. The only thing I remember was when I was standing there was just, I don't know. It felt like I was like, I never really talked about this before because I didn't think it really meant anything. It felt like I was like kind of vibrating a little bit. I don't know, like I was sitting in a vibrating seat or something is the best way to explain it. But it wasn't anything that really, when I had that event, I never really thought to talk about that before. I didn't really hear anything other than when I started talking to my mom and dad, and my mom spoke to me. So
was it verbal? Was it or did
yeah. Her mouth moved.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did they look the same as they did when they were they old or were they younger, or
they looked like they were when I was in high school and they were healthier.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Wow.
That's really cool.
And how were they? Did you see their clothes or anything?
I don't recall the clothes, I'll be honest with you.
Yep.
That part didn't really stand out to me.
And as far as you're like, I'm not going anywhere. Why did you feel that way?
I had this like real strong sense of, I don't know, it was like warmth. Like it felt like somebody was like wrapping their arms around me and my parents, and that they were like taking care of us. And it was almost like somebody, I didn't hear this, but it was almost like somebody was saying like, like we got you, Matt, you're going to be okay. And it just was this almost palpable feeling of just like, love, and
you're embraced in love on the other side.
Yeah.
You couldn't be in a bad mood if you wanted to.
No, not at all. It was so positive. I got angry at her for a split second, and I was like, I'm not going anywhere. What are you talking about? I haven't seen you in ye. What do you mean? And she gave me the line, boy. So,
yeah.
And I have always said this since I've had the event is, obviously I don't want to die. I'm not afraid to die. I'm not, because I know 150% that there is something after we die. I have no doubt this wasn't what you hear some of these a-hole doctors say, oh, it was a dump of chemicals or whatever. No, it wasn't. It was 100% proof that there is life after death. I am not afraid to die. I don't want to go anywhere for a long time, but I know that when I die, I will see my loved ones again, and everybody else. When that comes, you will see them as well.
That's right.
And I have no doubt. There's no doubt whatsoever.
Exactly. I totally agree. I never had a near-death experience, but my mom passed away, and that caused me to start having astral projection experiences where I went to the other side, to this green field the green grass was so green, you cannot even understand how green it was unless you actually. It's like
there were more colors there than I could see. Yeah, there were more color. You saw more color there than you see here. And you're right. It's like being bundled up in all the love there is. It's like a cocoon. You're just all wrapped up in it, and it doesn't leave you at all. And
No.
it also felt like I took some of it with me. I was mad like you were. I did not want to come back, but I took some of that with me. It came back with me, and it sustained you for a long time afterwards. It's like there's no doubt in your mind, as you say, this is
Right.
That was going to be my
Mhm.
next question, because I absolutely have this powerful interest in NDEs, near-death experiences.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like the sacred writings of truth and love. And I've learned so much from them. And
Yeah.
it affects people so profoundly. So I'm really interested in what was the aftermath of this all for you, spiritually speaking, beyond, just knowing that there's life after death.
I had, I before that occurred, with everything, excuse me, I was in a not such a great place with God. I
Mhm.
After all the things that occurred with me, losing my leg, being through so many surgeries, I had also almost died a number of other times. Um, I had bled out internally one time from bleeding ulcers and a vessel that burst, and I this close to dying. My hemoglobin level was 1.9, which they said is a dead person has a higher level than that.
Right.
I had other events, and I've asked my wife this. I've asked a number of people. I've asked my priest this before. I've said, what is going on here? Why am I constantly being beaten up here? Why is all this stuff? Did I do something? Was I like Vlad the Impaler in another life? Like,
I know.
what is the
No.
deal? And I just got very angry at God. And, I went to Catholic school through preschool through my senior year. And, they really nail it down your throats through that time. And I got, really angry after that, all that other stuff. And when I lost my mom and dad, it was really difficult for me, because my dad was the greatest person in the world. My mom was so awesome too, but my dad was the he, when you hear people talk about like Captain America, like he's the overgrown Boy Scout,
Yeah.
that was my dad, Kenneth Emch, Kenneth H. Emch, Kenneth Howard. He was the greatest human being on the planet. He was just the best dad ever. And he just never did anything to hurt anyone. And when he got pancreatic cancer and died, that was just really, really difficult for me to handle and my family. And I just was really angry. And again, with all the other stuff physically going on. And then my mom, I was just like, that's it, man. I've had enough. I'm done. I'm sick of you doing this to my family. You got bad people out there that are winning the lottery and screwing people left and right out of their and this and that. And I just didn't want anything to do with God. I stopped going to church and I stopped praying. And then I had this event occur, and I realized that there is a God for everyone out there, and everybody's God is different than everybody else's. And I just felt like God spoke to me, and God said, Matt, I'm still here. I still love you. And my God is different than most, I imagine. And I pray to my God all the time. And it's not the way that I was brought up in Catholic school, the way I pray and everything. But, I go to church once in a blue moon with my family. But
Can I ask you a question?
yeah,
This might be helpful. I'm going to turn it into a little bit more than just a question. Has it occurred to you yet that the lessons you learn, you choose to learn for yourself. That God has nothing to do with that because you're a free agent. You were given autonomy. And God is God, okay? God is the all mind, all right? That's how I see God. And in that autonomy, every lesson that I learn, every challenge that I meet, every fracas I get into, and every pain that I have teaches me something. Because I learn things from all those experiences. I learn what love is really all about. I learn what patience, personal patience is all about. I learn how strong I'm capable of being. I learn how hard it is to heal and how wonderful it is when you finally do come through that and you heal. These are all lessons and they make you wise. And that God allows this for us so that we can become wise. That's why we're here. That's why you go through that. And instead of seeing it as somebody coming at you and doing things to you, why don't you learn to see that these are all lessons that you need to learn to come across that type of pain or that type of calamity to teach you how you're going to see it and understand it and move through it. Yeah. Because everything here is a short little time, right? Mm-hmm. And it's nothing. Your body is nothing. You know that on the other side, you're a full body. You back to yourself. Okay. And whatever you deal with here, that even as painful as it can be, you get to leave here and go there, and it's like a challenge. It's like, it's not a bad thing. I personally am like you. I have been through every kind of pain you could possibly imagine on this planet. Okay. I've had every stupid thing happen to me that can happen, literally. And I've had days where I just sat there and thought, this is it.
Yeah, you actually remind me a little bit of each other. I've never broken a bone. Yeah, I've been very fortunate.
I've broken every bone in my body.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. I mean, it is amazing.
I think there's something to what you're saying, Dolly. But I think we do agree to come here to learn tough lessons. But once we're down here, it's kind of a different story. You know what I mean?
You're living in the moment. You feel cut off. That's part of why ET wants us to learn how to use our abilities, so we are not cut off totally. I mean, I have contact with my family on the other side. I can see them whenever I want. Everybody else should be able to do that too.
Yeah, well, that's another thing I was wondering about. Because a lot of people who have a near-death experience will start having more astral projection experiences. Have you found that to be the case?
I have started having more dreams where I see my parents. And when they first passed, I had people say, ask them to come see you at night. And it wasn't happening. But, I did want to finish saying this real quick. After I had that near-death experience, I really did feel like, I got a tiny bit of an answer. So just to let everybody know, and I had mentioned this to you guys last week, when I was a little kid all the way up till now, and I've told my family and my wife and daughter, I've had this immensely powerful voice and feeling in me saying that you were meant for something. You were meant for something big.
Right.
And after that occurred, I feel like I got kind of a part answer saying I told you that, you were meant for something big. And I almost feel like somebody said this was part of it. And I hope I get more answers. But yeah, I have started to see them more in my dreams. And I hope that is the capability of my mind being able to see them more. I want to learn more so that I can have that occur more.
Yeah.
So
that's the totally cool part about it. That's it. I know it's we have the opportunity here to learn everything that we can learn, that we have opportunities we can't learn everything. I mean, nobody's going to know everything while you're in the flesh here, but you can learn as much as you can learn. We have those opportunities, and it's pretty cool. We also have the opportunity to give. And one of the things that I learned because of all the things that have happened to me in my life is, even as a nurse, that I can give back to that. I used to, get a call from a doctor and say, listen, I was told that you're really good at knowing what this is and how to deal with it. And I got a patient over here that's going through the same thing you went through. And would you be willing to come and help them? Oh, you bet. I got off my butt and went. I went and walk with them, talk with them, to give them a little bit more than I had, to give them a piece of what I learned from it, and hold their hand when they needed it. Because sometimes that's all you need, I know that as a nurse and you have dying patients, sometimes they're terrified because they don't know,
Right.
and they don't have any family with them at all. And I really am grateful for the experience of knowing what to do and how to help them through that. That's a big deal. I also have the experience of knowing how to be protective and secure my space and not do something totally stupid. I have those abilities too. I mean, there's a plethora of things that I've learned that all add up into one big thing. And it's, I see the road. I saw the road. Oh, that's why I stayed back. I put myself at peril. I could have gone off with ET, but I didn't. I stayed. And my physical body means nothing to me. What means more to me is being there for everybody else, because I've learned that I needed everybody at one point, and now somebody will need me. Somebody will need what I know,
Yeah, I think just the simple knowledge that there is life after death is absolutely life-changing.
Yeah.
Beyond life altering.
Oh, I know. And just to be able to say it out loud and let people see your face when you're talking, and give them the encouragement that this is real,
Now, did you share that with your wife or any of your family?
Oh yeah. As soon as my wife came in, she didn't know what she was going to see. I was in, in extreme care. They had me in the, I always go blank on it. What's the department for the worst?
Pixie. Yeah, keep going.
BJ knows. Yeah, you have such a beautiful dog. So I was in, I was in the extreme care department, and my wife came in and she was like, "Oh my God, you look normal." Like this has freaked all the people out, that the doctors, the nurses, the residents were shocked at how normal I looked. And I started bawling, of course, first and foremost, because she didn't think she'd ever see me again. I didn't think I'd see her again. We had our moments. And then I told her right away, I said, I need to tell you something. I said, I need you to believe me. I saw my mom and dad, and I started crying, and she said, I do believe you. And I told her, and she started crying, and I got all of my siblings on the phone at the same time and told them, first of all, they wanted to hear my voice, because my wife had told them he's the doctor saying he's probably not going to make it. And then when they heard my voice, everybody was bawling. And then thank you, Arvo. You are too. And I told them what happened, and they just fell apart, and they wanted to know exactly what happened. And I told them, and they were crying their eyes out with me. And it was very, very special. And I'm going to tell you what I have told, obviously, people seeing me in my interviews where I've shared this, a lot of people have seen it, but I've told people that I have spoken to, like in public, or friends of mine that were in bad places. And I told them and shared it. And I'm going to tell you what, the feeling it gave me to see them bawl and tell me that, they were questioning, if they wanted to live anymore, and they had given up on life. And because of what I told them happened to me, that has completely changed their outlook on life. And like that, I can't even begin to tell you what that meant to me, and sharing that to people that really need to hear it is very special to me.
Yeah, you said another thing in passing, which I thought was super significant, that when you pulled over to this gas station, there was a doctor who just got a feeling to stop.
Yep.
There's an incredible synchronicity there, which makes me wonder about all the guidance and, destiny of all of this. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
the best word.
Yeah.
But there's stuff going on behind the scenes, it sounds like.
I agree.
Because
Yeah.
Dolly had an experience once where she was right in the right place to save someone's life as a nurse by pure synchronicity.
Yeah,
She-
whether I knew I was doing it or not. The weirdest one that ever happened to me is my daughter won Governor's Honors Award for music, for voice. And she went to Valdosta State University between her junior and her senior year for summer school for that. And we had to pack her up and get her ready to go like she was really going to college because she was going to live in the dorms and everything.
Mm.
And her boyfriend, we packed her up and got her down there. And I went down about 2 weeks later to hear them all sing for the first time. And he wanted to come with me. So I said, okay. So we got my Volkswagen and we head down there. Between Albany and Valdosta, there's nothing but nothing. Okay. Nothing. No hospitals, no nothing. And I pulled in this gas station because I had to change. I have juvenile diabetes. Okay. And I had to change my port. And it was due. Okay, I changed my pump, and I bring everything with me. It's like real easy, just go in the bathroom, bing, 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 and I do it. But when I was sitting in the car, I pulled the port out in the car to just get it over with because I didn't know how clean the bathroom was. And I put my shirt down and I start walking in, and there's a cop just inside the door. He's staring at me. He went like that, like, what the hell? And I'm thinking, oh my God, what'd I do? And I go in the bathroom, and about 10 minutes later, I hear bam, 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 bam. Ma'am, please open the door. We're paramedics and the police. We need you to open the door right now. And I'm like, what is going on? We just need to see that you're okay. They had my daughter's boyfriend in handcuffs, just about, outside holding him because they thought he stabbed me. Because that teeny port stick, little microscopic thing, decided to bleed out on me, and my whole front of my shirt was blood red, like I'd just been stabbed.
Oh,
by that cop. So they had 4 ambulances. Why? No, 2 ambulances, 4 fire trucks. Okay. So I say, okay, excuse me. And I said, only the paramedic can come in. All right. He said, okay. So he came in with me, and I showed him it's just my, diabetes things. And I was trying to rinse my shirt out in there. Okay. When I saw how bad I had bled, but it had already covered up and everything. So it get me all cleaned up, and I go out to the car, and I get my oil that I wanted to get for my car. And they're all sitting there laughing their butts off about the whole thing. My poor daughter's boyfriend was like, yeah. Ha, ha. Okay. And a call came in. Less than 1/8 of a mile up the road, there was a huge crash, and there was a child trapped in the car. And every one of them was needed there. They would not have been that close to save that baby's life if they had not been taken care of.
thank God.
Now you got to ask yourself, I change those ports all the time. I have never bled out like that in my life, but that day I did. Okay. That's the weirdest thing that ever happened to me.
God, thank you.
And that's goes
You
beyond
hear this kind of thing all the time too.
Yeah, I used to carry a full med kit. ER nurse, you're going to carry full med kit, emergency medical equipment with you. I had an ambu bag, the whole thing. And I swear to you, people just try to do stupid stuff, and I'm right there. And luckily in the state of Georgia, I had the right to pull over and help. Okay, I was under no threat of being sued for helping. Okay, and I can't tell you how many times, even when my daughter was in school, some little kid, we went on the thing to Stone Mountain. They were on the paddle boat, and he was trying to get off the boat early or swing his foot around a pylon, and the boat landed on the pylon with his leg between the boat and the pylon, and he started screaming. And this is when I'm very, very, very strong. I'm like an Amazon. And I pushed that boat off that pylon, and I grabbed him, and I ran with him because I knew where the nurse's station was on the mountain. We lived right by it, and I knew where everything was. And I got him in there, and there's nobody there. Well, I practically kicked the door in. I got him on the table, and I'm looking at him, and I'm thinking, crap, now my daughter, 911, call them right now and tell them what's going on. And he was going into shock, and his leg was totally dislocated. And I know how to relocate the bone. Okay. And I did it. I popped it back in. And then I found pads and ice bags and braces and stuff like that. And, you put gauze to hold it all together until they got there. The mother was hysterical. And when she got in there, and she was watching me work on him, and about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years later, the greatest day of my life was graduating from elementary school, because they were in elementary school. And he came up to me and he gave me a big hug and he said, "You don't remember me, do you?" And I said, "Yes, I do. I remember you." And he said, "I play football and I'm going to be a football player." And I said, "Oh my God." And he said, "I wouldn't have been when my doctor said you saved my leg." And I said, "Oh, that's good." I said, "But that's my job. That's what I was trained to do. That's what I wanted to do in life." And he said, "Well, you still saved it." And I said, "Oh, I'm glad that all that school went to something."
This just goes to show we're put in certain places. You
Right.
being able to share your story, Matt, with other people who absolutely
Right.
changed their lives. They're
Yeah.
probably going to do the same thing for other people. It's this huge, big tapestry that
We
we're
have
all
to
woven
be,
into.
yeah, we're the outlet of,
You're right.
we're the little sticks that can, it's amazing what we're capable of doing as people. And
So,
to
so I think you already answered this question, but I'm going to pop it up. I don't know how you're so active in chat, man, but you're doing it amazing. But Genevieve is asking, did you feel it was hard to come back into your body following this near-death experience?
Yeah, I had answered her before, and with practice, Preston, that's how.
Okay, you're good at it.
No, I didn't really notice any difficulty. I feel like it was more on my mom and I'm just gonna say God. God put the power through my mom's hand and said, "Hey, you need to tell him he needs to go." And when I said I'm not going anywhere, she touched me here and boom,
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. It was just instant. And I opened my eyes a split second later and I was on the operating table.
Yeah.
I've been out of body a few times and I'm like, I don't really want to go. I really like it up here.
Yeah.
And then once a tunnel opened, and I'm like, well,
You have
guess
no
I'm
choice.
going.
That's where you're going.
I
They
got
told you
sucked
back
right down
then.
into it, back into my body.
You're not
But there's
staying
been a
until
few
you
times
go.
I'd be like, you know what? I could stay up here and I would be perfectly happy. But again, we have family back here. We
Yeah.
have duties. We have things we're
We
supposed
have
to
reasons to
accomplish.
be. That's right. We have reasons.
I'm glad you're still here, Preston. I wouldn't be.
Likewise.
Yeah,
Totally
thanks.
grateful for that. Yep. Well,
Same
let
with
me
you
ask
too,
you a
Dolly.
question. You're welcome. Let me ask you a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you're doing the podcasts and everything else, what you're doing, do you see that you're already starting to fulfill what it is you're supposed to be doing?
I feel like it's part of it. I do. I feel like this, quite honestly, is because I didn't start this until after the near death experience. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So I just feel like I am starting to fulfill whatever that voice has been saying to me. You're meant for something. I just
Yeah.
feel like it's just the beginning. And I feel like I have a lot more and a much bigger group to speak to as the time goes by.
You will.
Yeah, well, you're already a very powerful force with this whole Dogman issue. And did you say there's a documentary that you're working on? Or?
Yeah, actually. So this year, my one buddy, his name is David Wolf, ironically, last name Wolf, but he has a YouTube channel called Exposing the Strange, ETS, Exposing the Strange. He's releasing a documentary that I recorded with him a couple years ago and other people about my Dogman experience. But I have been, since I started doing my interviews, and when I did the one interview on what lurks beneath with my one of my best friends, Josh Nanokio, on that channel, it's almost up to 3 million views in less than 2 years. I think I'm his number one or number two or number 3 most watched video. I think it's 3. And a lot of people started reaching out to me, obviously, for interviews and stuff. But I started after a while because everyone's like, man, this needs to be made into a movie. This needs to be made into a documentary. And I got reached out to by quite a few people. And they're like, hey, I was wondering if I could talk to you about turning your experience into a documentary or a movie. And when I spoke to a lot of these people, it was just, they just weren't, it didn't click. It's not what it just didn't feel like they were meant to be the ones. And then
gotta trust your intuition.
oh, I do. My wife always says that too. One of the other freaky things I freak my family out about, the premonition in my gut. They always ask me, what does your gut tell you? I tell them, and 99% of the time I'm usually right. And that freaks them out big time as well. And
I love it.
I do too. I do too. I can trust my gut immensely. And I went to a conference down in Texas about 2.5 years ago. And I met a number of people, Josh and Anokio from What Lurks Beneath, and a number of other people, channels that I made friends with and did interviews on. And I met a producer director who I got to be very, very good friends with. His name is Christopher Garitano. He's a big deal. He works and is making a series for A&E. And then he also has come out with a number of series over the years. If you look up Christopher Garitano on Google, Garetano, you'll find out all about his series that he's made. He made a series called Strange World and other series as well. And he's making a couple new documentaries coming out in around Halloween time. One is called Haunting We Will Go, and another is called Terror Down South. And he reached out to me and he said to me, Matt, I don't know how you feel about it, but I want you to know, if you ever I want you to know that I'd love to make a movie about you. I've been thinking about this since you and I met, and he pitched it to me, and my gut just said, hell yeah, he's the guy to do it. He's going to respect me. He's going to do it the right way. He's ultra professional, and it will be done unlike anybody else will do it. And he's making an actual movie with pieces of a documentary in it. So he's going to have kids play me and my friends.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be kind of like Stranger Things and Stand By Me kind of thing set in the 80s. I'll be in it giving my documentary pieces. He's going to be, talking to me, and we're starting to record that right around when he releases his 2 movies that Halloween. He's going to release them in the Halloween time. Wow. And it's going to take us, a couple years to make it, but it's a really big deal, and I can't wait to do it with him.
Yeah, awesome. Well, it gives me chills. That's that sounds like it's the right thing. I'm getting a feeling. Just saying.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll definitely send a copy to all of you guys. And then everybody, who's in the chat, and you guys will get to see, when we're going to release it, you'll see it on Planet 412, the links and everything, and how you can watch it. And it'll be on his channel as well. And Christopher is an amazing talent. And yeah, I can't wait. I'm super stoked.
That sounds awesome. I'm very happy for you that they're going to do that. That is totally cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Here, let me see if we didn't get a whole lot of questions. There was a couple here. This is for you, Dolly, but it's related. Dolly, in your opinion, what is Dogman and where do they come from?
Well, they're actual ETs, and they come from somewhere. They're related. You know who Anubis is, right? From Egypt. They're related to them. If you actually saw one not coming at you and just standing there, you'd realize that it's Anubis. They're very physical. They're very big. They're very muscular. They do have clawed hands and feet. And they have that big, long face snout, like a big, and they have their ears are up like this. And they have piercing eyes. They wear lenses when they're here. And they do weird things with the lenses so that they can see at night. So they might glow in the dark for you when you see them here. But when they're not, their pupils are wide open. I mean, it's like, wow. I actually saw them once when I was a young kid on board a craft, and it was really, really cool to see them. It was a bit disconcerting because they really didn't want anything to do with me. They acknowledged my presence and they knew I had to walk by them. And one huffed me when I went by, went like that, it let out a growl, and we're like, nah. And my room was right by them, just by them. And I went in there and shut the door and started jumping up and down and screaming like, and freaking out. I've seen them again in my life, and I've learned that they're guards. They're guardians.
I suspect some live on this planet.
Yeah,
that would surprise me.
Yeah,
I have an opinion as well. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, don't go right ahead. Go right ahead.
A lot of people have asked me, obviously, since that occurred, I have been completely engulfed in research since that happened when we were young. And, one of the things that I studied was, Egyptian lore with Anubis. It's funny. My wife actually brought that up to me too. She goes, it reminds me of Anubis. Did you get any sense? I'm like, yeah, definitely part of it. Definitely things that, I think are a part of its origin. Also, if you look in the Bible, Saint Christopher had went to an island of dog-headed beings called the Cynocephaly.
This is so interesting to me. You mentioned this earlier.
So you go back to the Bible and they'll say the Cynocephaly, the island of dog-headed people. And I think they are related to them as well. I think these beings come from other dimensions. They have the ability to go in and out of our world.
Like Bigfoot, which can do that.
A lot of people like, oh, well, what about, do you think the government has any of these beings? Or I don't think so.
No, not at all.
I've heard experiences where some of them seem much different than the being that me and my friends saw. So I don't know.
I want to tell you what my personal opinion about that incident is.
Go ahead.
I think that you came up on it suddenly. It was there was something there that you were not supposed to get into. Okay.
I agree.
And it was warning you off in the most serious way. And when you saw it again, it reminded you how serious it was. That's how they are. Okay. I've been told pointedly by my mama ET that at no time should I ever engage one ever. And I'm like, well, why? Well, talk to me. And she said, no, not really. It's not there. No. I'm like, okay, and I took her seriously, and I never have. I saw a second one on this planet. I was OBE at a CE5 in Georgia. I was in Florida. And it was my CE5 group, and I would OBE to the meetings. Okay. They knew I was watching them. Okay. And when I got there, OBE, there he was standing in the kitchen, OBE, nobody else could see him. And he was guarding one of our members. And I was like, huh, what the? And I looked at her and I looked at him, and he went to me. And I walked all the way around him the other way and went, okay, bye, see you.
Was it wearing anything, Dolly?
No, it had on like the kilt that they wear, and he had on that kind of like a vesty looking thing, but his arms were fully bare, and they have muscles like they're big guys. Okay, big, unbelievable, oversized muscles. Okay, and their hands are like this, and they move them really, really well. Okay, you can see them; they're very dexterous with their hands, and like I said, I freaked out when he was OBE, and the fact that you say they're interdimensional, I think that we see them OBE as well. Okay, because I can. All right,
I did, yeah, and man, they are the ultimate predator. I'm sure that's one of the reasons she.
Well, that's you don't want to do that. We have dogs, right? Your dog is the ultimate predator. He can turn predator in a second. And when you own a dog, especially a big dog like that thing we got in the house here, she is gorgeous, beautiful, but do not act like you're going to
piss her off. No, Joe.
You won't be good. You'll be bleeding. Okay,
right.
When she's a hound, and that's what they do. And her claws get that long. I'm not kidding you. From her paw, I had an issue last year, and I couldn't get to her claws, and they got that long, and I had to have them cut, and it freaked me out too. Just like, wow, she knows how to use them too. And it's like, it's amazing.
There's more creatures on this planet, I think, than a lot of people have any idea.
Oh man,
yeah. Yeah,
Can't
you don't
even
want to.
imagine.
I just wouldn't want to be on the bad side of those guys.
Oh,
You know,
you
whatever
know what?
they're
We're
doing,
pretty much
stay
out
away.
of time, you guys.
Okay.
We're right here at the end of the show.
Yeah.
I'm having so much fun. I didn't even notice. We got 2 minutes to just close this up. Thanks, Matt. That's just a real treat, a real honor.
Absolutely. I
We
was
have to have you
honored.
back. We have to, you know, like in a couple of months, you have to come back. And we'll talk some more.
Absolutely. And the
Yeah.
same
And then
goes
after
for you
when
guys
the
on my
movie
channel.
comes out, you have to come out to, you know, launch it. Okay. So
Sounds
after
good.
you launch it on your channel, you come launch it on ours. How's that?
All right. Sounds
Yeah.
awesome.
You
Thank
got
you
to
for
consider
having
writing
me.
a book too, Matt. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
I actually do want to start writing a book. I was told by many people you got to write a book, so I'm going to start working on one then this next
Oh,
year.
cool. I can help you with that.
Oh,
Right through the whole
please.
step through it, because I've got a lot of experience with
Absolutely.
from beginning to end.
I will
learned a
take
lot.
you up on that.
So any way I can help, please let me know.
Thank you. I'll take you up on that, Preston.
I'd be honored. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for having me. It was an honor. Everybody in the chat, thank you. If you could head on over to Planet 412 and subscribe and hit that bell, I'd appreciate it. I'd love to have you guys as fellow population members on the 412. And thanks again, you two. I had a great time.
Okay, Preston.
Yeah, well, I guess that's it, you guys. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Dolly. You guys in chat are awesome. Sorry we couldn't get to all the questions. We're going to do another Q&A. They're always super popular. I do want to give a shout out to all of you guys who help support us. Bob Thorson, Namaste, amazing, Sunny Burnett. We truly appreciate it. We cannot express our thanks, Janie. You guys are just absolutely awesome, T-Bone.
Thank you,
T-Bone. Are forever in your debt, in my opinion. So thank you guys, all of you, for taking time out of your busy days and joining us here in our Lightgate family.
You're coming like family to us now, so it's like we get all happy when we see you in here. It's
100%. Cool. Yeah. So, all right, golly, I guess it's time to say goodbye. As much as I hate to, but time flew this time. Thanks, Matt. It's really just flew by.
Thank you, everybody, for coming to us on this Monday, the 28th of July, at the Lightgate from the beautiful city of New Orleans at United Public Radio Network at 107.7 FM and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 105.3 FM. We are on Facebook. We are on Roku. We are on Rumble. Woo, Rumble. And we are on YouTube. We love you all. Please have a wonderful week and stay cool. Don't get in trouble with the heat. Promise us. Okay. Night night.